Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel and welcome to my very first video of 2024. Happy New Year, you guys. I am filming this on January 1st and it just feels so good to be sitting down and talking to my camera, doing a little chatty vlog with you all today. Today's video is going to be my January reset vlog and I really enjoy doing these. I just kind of like getting organized for the month ahead, talking about what my reading is going to look like in this next month, and also just throwing in a few other random things, kind of whatever I feel like talking about or doing that day. So let's get straight into it. The plan for this vlog. Number one, I am of course going to go over my January TBR. I also got a TBR cart, so I want to put that together and then I will put my books on there, which will be very exciting. I also have a little bit of an unhaul. We're gonna have like a new year unhaul moment because there's just some books that I want to get off my shelves, and so I'll share those with you all. And then I did get a couple books for Christmas. I will show you guys those, so we'll have a little unhaul, then a little mini haul. It'll probably be like a pretty chatty, pretty chill reset vlog. That's kind of just what I feel like doing today. But regardless, I'm really excited to be talking to you all. So let's get straight into the book unhaul. We'll start with that. All right, so it's a new year and I'm going to be unhauling some books. I don't have too many here, but I was just looking over my shelves the last few days and I just removed a few books that I'm like, I don't want to carry these into the new year. I don't want to read them, or I have read them and I didn't like them and it's time for them to go. So let's go through those really quick. So number one is going to be All the Light We Cannot See. I know that this is a very iconic and well-loved book. I just don't see myself picking this book up at any time in the near future. I've had this book on my shelves, I think since 2020 or 2021, and I have never been called to pick it up. It is a historical book and I'm not really into historical fiction. Very rarely am I, because I just want to make more room on my shelves. I am going to unhaul this one. Also, this book is always readily available at my library. I feel like they have a ton of copies of this book in the audiobook, so whenever the mood strikes, I can definitely access this book. I just don't need it on my shelves anymore because I'm just not really drawn to it. Next up is going to be Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I am just getting rid of this edition that I have. I have a much prettier edition and I just realized I don't need two copies of this book. I haven't even read it yet. If I end up loving it and it's like an all-time fave, maybe I will buy some like special edition of it, but this isn't really anything too special. I mean, it's pretty, but once again, it's just not something that I need on my shelves. Then we have Bound and Barbed, and I'm only getting rid of this because I bought the hardcover version. So this is the paperback edition and I read this in November, I want to say, and I did really enjoy it, but I wanted to get to the hardcovers just because, one, in general, I do prefer fantasy to be in hardcover, and two, I don't really love these tall paperbacks. I don't really like this format. I know that's like strange and very picky, but it's just something that I'm not like super crazy about. So I decided to get the hardcover edition of this book, and so I'm going to be unhauling this one. The next book is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just never think about this book, you guys. Like, I forget that it is on my shelf all the time, and I just feel like my interest in this book has come and gone. I think a couple years ago I was excited, I wanted to pick this up. I think probably around the time that a lot of other people were reading it, but I just didn't get to it. And at this point, I'm just not drawn to it once again, and I've had it for a very long time. I have considered unhauling it in months past, in years past, but I just like, I don't need this book. I'm not drawn to it at all. Once again, this is something that I can very easily get at my library, so I don't need it taking up space on my shelves. All right, next up is going to be, no surprise if you've been keeping up with my channel, I'm going to be unhauling Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. It pains me only because this book is beautiful. I love the pink. I love the floral design, the key. This is a gorgeous book. Physically on the outside. Cover 10 out of 10. I did not like this book though. I gave this 2 stars. Honestly, like, there was really nothing about this book that I really have anything super positive to say about, which is unfortunate because when I saw this book, I was like, oh my god, that's gorgeous. Adult debut by this author. I'm so excited, but it really didn't work for me. So honestly, I'm not really sad to see this book go, and it is well overdue for it to be off my shelves. Next up, I'm going to be unhauling The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I DNF'd this book, I believe, at around the like 30% mark, I want to say. I just could not get into this book, particularly with the writing. I found the world building very confusing. I never really latched onto the characters. I just couldn't get there with this book. I could not connect, and it just didn't feel like it was gonna work for me. So I know I've heard like pretty amazing things about this book. I don't know what it is though. I just could not get into it, and I really did not like the writing style, so I'm gonna unhaul it. Next, I'm gonna be unhauling A Broken Blade. I read this in 2023 and it was a perfectly fine book. I don't think it is bad, but I did just find it kind of boring. I don't plan to continue on with the series, and it just didn't really do a lot for me. It's not quite a fantasy romance. It's more like a fantasy with a romance subplot, and I just didn't connect, did not not connect to the story, the characters. This book doesn't really spark anything in me, so I'm gonna get rid of it. All right, the next book may come as a surprise or may not, I'm not sure, but I am going to be unhauling Foxglove. It's kind of a surprise to me. Past me would be a little bit surprised because this was one of my most anticipated reads of 2023. I was so excited for it because the first book in this series is Belladonna, and I loved Belladonna. Really, really amazing, like paranormal gothic romance. I really, really loved it when I read that in 2022, and I was highly anticipating the sequel, but I am just not interested in the direction that we are going in this series. I feel that our two main characters in the first book have kind of taken a back seat. We are following new storylines and new characters, while the main characters of the first book are definitely still there and they're still a part of the story. It just feels different, and I just am not interested in these new characters and their dynamic. I can already kind of see what's gonna happen too, and I don't know. I'm gonna pretend that Belladonna is a standalone book, and I still love that book. I still think it's so great, but I just did not really like Foxglove. I'm not looking forward to Wisteria. I was going to pick it up. I think after I read this, I said that I was still gonna pick up Wisteria and finish it off, but I've changed my mind. I don't really care how the trilogy ends, just because I feel like this book took such a departure from book one with the plot lines and the characters and all of that. So yeah, I'm unhauling this. Belladonna is a standalone. You cannot change my mind, and I'm honestly happy to see this go. All right, so the next book that I am unhauling is going to be House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City 1 by Sarah J. Maas. And you may be wondering, Rachel, why are you unhauling that book? And that is because I got gifted an amazing edition of this book. So we are now switching to the book haul portion of my reset vlog. So for Christmas, I was gifted the most amazing edition of Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Hannah at Hannah's Recent Reads. That is her government name. She surprised me and annotated a copy of Crescent City, you guys. I can't, like, I just can't. She is an angel, an actual angel. I cannot believe that I know her, that she is one of my best friends. I feel so, so fortunate. So I'm getting rid of this one because I don't need it. And now I have this absolutely beautiful edition. This is probably my favorite Sarah J. Maas book. I don't know, it changes all the time, but this is one of my favorite books of all time. And the fact that Hannah took the time, annotated this book, you know, put the tabs in, highlighted, wrote things in it. She just put so much thought and care into this, and I feel so grateful to have this book in my possession. I now have this in A Court of Silver Flames, annotated by my best friend. Like, truly, I am the luckiest girl on earth, and I was so just blown away and overwhelmed when I opened this as a Christmas gift from Hannah. So I don't need her anymore because I now have her, and this is absolutely going to be just a cherished book of mine, and I'm really, really grateful that I got this. All right, and then I got two more books for Christmas that I'm going to show you guys. So number one is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I know little to nothing about this book. I know this author wrote the Lycanos trilogy. I could be completely butchering that series, but it is like that white book with the orange sun. It's a very, like, every time I see it in Barnes & Noble, I look at it because I think it's a really stunning cover. But I did hear Sahar talk about wanting to read this, and I added it to my Christmas list. I think at the time she hadn't even read it yet. I don't know if she's even read it at this point that I'm filming this, but her just saying that she really wants to read this and she was really excited about it made me add it to my Christmas list. So I did, and I ended up getting it for Christmas. So I'm really excited, and I have seen some really great reviews for it. I know that there is like an academy or school setting in this book, and I always love that, so I'm excited to see what this book is all about. And then I also got Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This is a book that's always been on my radar, like in the back of my mind, thinking, should I pick this book up? And I don't know, just lately it's been calling to me, so I did get this for Christmas as well. It's an absolutely stunning book cover. I really do hope that I enjoy this. I don't feel like I hear too many people talk about this book, but I've definitely seen it like at the bookstore and on Goodreads, so I definitely want to give it a shot for myself. All right, so next up, I'm going to be setting up my TBR cart. I am very excited about that. So here she is. Is she not just the most stunning green color? I'm so excited to have one of these. I've always wanted one. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get one, but I'm really looking forward to putting the books that I want to read on this cart each month, and we'll see if that helps me stick to my TBR. I'm really not trying to have like a super strict TBR, but I still think it is nice to visualize what you set out to read each month, and I just wanted one, so I'm excited to put it together. I hope it's not hard. I have no idea. I haven't looked at the instructions. I have no idea how to put this together. So I'm gonna do a little research and try to figure out how I will put this all together, and then I will check back with you guys while I'm setting it up, and we can just have a little chat. Hi. Okay, so I think I figured it out. The directions are literally just one page, so I should be able to make this work. I've already put this together, killing it, and now I think I just need to screw these to the trays and then put the wheels on, something like that. Yeah, let's just get started. So while I do this, I thought it would be fun to talk about a few goals for 2024. I did kind of talk about this in my last reset vlog, my December reset vlog. I talked about a few, but just, you know, as time has gone on, I have a few more and I want to chat with you all about those. So the first thing that I wanted to do is talk about my Goodreads goal, because obviously it's January 1st. And I think so many others have probably set their 2024 reading challenge goal on Goodreads. And I set my goal to 50 books, which is the lowest that I've ever set my reading goal. And I'm feeling really excited about it. I've always set my reading goal to 100. That's always been like a good, just like clean, even number for me to set as my reading challenge goal. But I want to take a little bit of the pressure off to hit that goal and not let that like decipher how I'm picking out what books to read. I think there's literally nothing wrong with, oh hey, I'm probably gonna pick up a shorter book this week or something so that I can, you know, up my Goodreads number. Like, I think we all do that. I think that's very normal, but I have found myself doing that frequently, you know, throughout, especially in 2023, and I just want to avoid that. I just don't want the Goodreads, like, reading goal monkey on my back to be influencing me too much with what I'm picking up, and I just don't want to be thinking about the numbers as much. Of course, like, saying all this, I could set my Goodreads goal to, like, 5 books or something and just not even think about it, but I do like a little bit of a challenge still. Like, I love the idea of the Goodreads reading challenge, and I just love the gratification that comes from, like, achieving your Goodreads goal. So I feel like 50 books is a good place to be at. I definitely think I'm going to read more than 50 books. I'm like 99% positive I'll probably read 100 or more books, because that's just how I read. That's just like always happened for me over the last few years. But I'm excited that I set my goal a little bit lower, and I still want to read a lot because that's what we do here. That's what I'm going to be spending a lot of my time doing. But I just think that it'll be nice to kind of have a little bit less pressure as far as the Goodreads reading challenge goes. And I just don't want that like dictating how frequently I'm reading or like what I'm picking up. Hopefully that all makes sense, but I'm really excited about that, and I think it's gonna be really good for me. I'll be curious to see what it's like to have a lower reading goal, because I've always set it to 100, and I'm looking forward to a bit of a change. So that is very exciting. Okay, so quick cart update. I've already messed something up. So this is on backwards. I'm gonna fix that and then I will be back. Hi, oh my God, this first vlog of 2024 is off to a very chaotic start. Let's hope that's not a premonition for the year. Probably will be. But anyway, I do have an update. I decided to, you know what, I'm not gonna lift it up. I have one of the legs on. I'm gonna put the other leg on and I'm gonna talk to you guys while I do that. This is actually easier than I thought it was gonna be once you have the legs facing the right way. That is a key detail. But now that everything is facing the right way, I think I should be good to set the rest of this up. So let's do it. Okay, so another goal that I want to establish for myself in 2024 in relation to reading and just lifestyle and all of that. I've kind of already started this, but this weekend I definitely fell off the wagon because it's been New Year's Eve weekend and just all of that. But over the last week and a half prior to this weekend, I have been getting up at 6 a.m. to read for 1 hour. And initially, when I kind of thought of doing this, I was like, ew, 6 a.m., no thank you. But it has been so amazing for me. I am so happy that I did this, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into this routine. So what kind of inspired this is I really wanted to focus on prioritizing reading in 2024, which might sound like, what, Rachel? Like, you literally have a YouTube channel dedicated to reading. Of course you prioritize reading in your life. But something that I definitely found myself doing, particularly towards the end of 2023, is just trying to like fit in reading when I could, because, you know, life gets crazy and I do work full time and, you know, just other aspects of my life. Fitting in reading was difficult at times, and that's okay. That's normal. You know, I need to live my life and prioritize work and family and all those things, but I also want to prioritize reading because it brings me joy, and that's why I started this channel. You know, I started this channel so that I could find people to talk about books with, and reading has always been like an escape for me and has always brought me a lot of joy. And if I am not kind of prioritizing those things that make me happy in the long run, I'm going to be less happy, which kind of ended up happening definitely towards this latter half of 2023. So sure, I was reading in 2023, obviously, right? Like, I was vlogging throughout the entire year, but actually carving out time in my day dedicated to reading. I mean, I've only been doing it for like a week, but it's truly been life-changing. It has been so much fun. I have enjoyed it so much, and I just love the quiet of the morning. And kind of how I looked at it is like, I am not needed at 6 a.m. No one needs me at 6 a.m. Work does not need me, family doesn't need me, anything like that. And I am getting up early to relax and focus on myself, focus on my own wants and needs. And that has just been really, really great for me. So I know that like getting up early obviously is never fun because I work from home. So like I don't technically have to get up early, right? Like I can just wake up right before I, need to start work and whatever. But there is definitely something to be said for not starting your day with like stress or work or something like that. Starting my day doing something dedicated to myself is really, really just a wonderful form of self-care, I think, and I have just really enjoyed doing it. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that this week, and I just sit down here in my book room and I start reading around 6 or 6:15, and I just read for an hour. I do read more throughout the day too, like I'll read on my lunch and after work if I'm feeling like I have some time to read, I'll do it as well. But it's a way for me to, one, guarantee that I'm reading every single day, and two, prioritizing things that I really love and that bring me happiness. And I think it just makes me more productive as well. And I am just somebody who thrives in a little bit of a routine. Definitely when I just like let myself do whatever and don't really like have a routine or focus on being productive, it can affect me in a negative way. And I think just for me and how my brain works, it's just really helped me. So 10 out of 10 recommend if you are finding yourself struggling with like trying to figure out when you should read or all of that. I would say get up 1 hour earlier and just read a little bit more because it's been really good for me. All right, and then my final goal, I'm sure things will develop as the year goes on and I'll come up with different goals, but another goal that I have is to just spend less time on social media, develop a healthier relationship with social media. Somewhere in there, my goal lies. I love Instagram so much. It's my favorite app. I love watching people's stories. I like seeing what everyone's up to. I like to see what people are posting. I also talk to a bunch of my friends on there. Like, it's an amazing place. But what is not amazing is how much I can get sucked into like doom scrolling and just spending hours and hours and hours on there, just like mindlessly consuming content. I think just like needless scrolling, mindless social media use, I think is just something that I want to work on. Also too, like guys, my screen time, particularly with Instagram, it's not good. And I just think, I could read so many more books. Like sometimes there will be days where I spend like 3 or 4 hours on Instagram. Imagine if I didn't do that. What a concept. And I just like read a book instead. Like I could read half a book in 3 or 4 hours. I want to find like a better way to navigate my relationship with Instagram, whether that is like, cause I'm not gonna like completely, I'm not gonna not go on Instagram. I love it. It's my favorite app, but I think I just need to like put some parameters up for myself. So I don't know if that is just limiting the amount of time I'm on there like each day, or maybe like at nighttime, I set a time where I'm like, okay, I'm not going on Instagram for the rest of the night, something like that. It really is the late night doom scrolling that gets me and really messes with my anxiety. And so it's not good for business. It's not good for business. I just want to have a healthier relationship with it. I'm going to work on that in 2024. I think social media is amazing and I think that it can do a lot of wonderful things. And the biggest thing that it does for me is connects me with people that I really care about and want to check in on and see how my friends are doing and all of that. So that's a really great aspect of it. So that's never going to go away, of course. But I just think that I need to, I just gotta limit how much I'm on there, how frequently I'm checking it, how frequently I'm scrolling, things like that. I'm gonna try to work on that because my mental health is, the most important thing, of course. And if my mental health is not good, nothing else is gonna be good. Instagram, she is a tricky thing because truly it's my favorite app. Like I love Instagram so much, but it also gives me anxiety. Why is that? I'm just gonna try to limit the amount of time that I spend. Honestly, like on other apps too, like I don't have a TikTok, I deleted that because that was actually taking over my life. I do go on Reddit quite a bit, nothing quite like doom scrolling on Reddit. If you know, you know. So I need to be on there less as well. I just wanna focus more on reading, being more present, and just using social media for the positive aspects that I really enjoy about it, like talking to my friends. And then other stuff, I just gotta limit the amount of times that I'm doing those other things. I think just like more intentional and conscious social media use, I think is gonna be something that I'm focusing on in 2024. Oh, I do have another goal, which is coming after my limiting my Instagram use. This is gonna sound insane. I wanna post on Instagram more. I never post on my Instagram and I want to post more. I wanna post more frequently just because it's fun. It's fun to post on Instagram, but I just like don't think about it. But I think I need to think about it more and just prioritize it more and just make more posts on there. Even if it's just like random lifestyle stuff or if it's just like a book recommendation, like if I read a book recently. I just want to dedicate more time to posting on my Instagram while simultaneously limiting my time on Instagram. So it'll be tricky to figure that one out, but I think as long as I'm like, I feel, you know, like self-awareness and just acknowledging those things, that's half the battle, right? So I'm gonna try to post more, but also not spend 5 hours a day on there. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm looking forward to it and I think it'll be really good for me. Those are my goals, I think, for 2024, just more that I've thought of over the last few weeks. I'm looking forward to it. I just feel really good about this year. I definitely feel like the latter half of 2023, and particularly like the last quarter of 2023, it was just kind of rough. Very much looking forward to starting fresh, going forward with positive intentions, focusing on my mental health and focusing on reading and kind of just getting back to my love for it and why I started my channel and all of that, and just really trying to let go of insecurities and anxieties and just like have fun, because that's what we're all here to do. So with that, my TBR cart is almost set up. Here's what she looks like right now. I haven't showed you guys any of this, which, yeah, I mean, you guys know what this looks like, right? So I am going to get the wheels on and then I'll make my TBR and I'll show you guys my TBR. All right, so now on to the main and I think final event of this January reset vlog is of course my January TBR. Now, if you are new here, I do set monthly TBRs. I used to set like very strict monthly TBRs and dedicate an entire video to them. I don't do that anymore though, just because we're doing fun, silly, chill vibes only on this channel this year. But all that being said, I do like to set a little bit of a TBR. I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm not gonna set a super strict like 15 book TBR and I have to only read those books, but I do like to set my intentions for the month and talk about them with you all, because there are definitely books that I'm going to talk about that I know 100% I will be reading this month for one reason or another. So we're gonna talk about my TBR, which is like a guideline of what I wanna read this month. Of course, we'll see what I end up reading at the end of the month, but these are the books that I definitely have my eye on right now. So number one, a book that I'm 100% reading in January is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This will be my third time reading this book, and I am reading it in preparation of course, House of Flame and Shadow, which is coming out this month. You guys, we are in January 2024. House of Flame and Shadow is coming out January 2024. I cannot believe that we are weeks away from that book being out. I literally, like, I can't even talk about it. I'm so excited. So I definitely want to reread House of Sky and Breath before House of Flame and Shadow gets here, just to refresh myself and be as fresh as possible on the series before I pick up that third book. So I'm really excited. So House of Sky and Breath is on the TBR, and then of course House of Flame and Shadow is also on my TBR for January. I am also going to be reading A Kingdom, This Cursed and Empty by Stasia Stark. I am actually going to be buddy reading this with my friend Steph over at Stephanie Bookish. I will have her channel linked down below. She and I both read the first book in this series, A Court This Cruel and Lovely, around the same time, and we both ended up really enjoying it. I think we even both gave it 4 stars. We had a lot of fun with it. You know, it's got some flaws, but it was a good time, and we were like, let's buddy read the second one because we had very similar experiences with the first book, and we're both very much looking forward to the sequel. So I'm really excited to pick this up. I really hope that Steph and I both love it. I feel like the series has a lot of promise. I'm excited to see where things go with the plot for sure. I am also going to be reading The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. This is just a fantasy romance that I've seen a lot of buzz about. A lot of people have been talking about it, and so I picked it up and I'm really excited to read it. I am actually working on my first reading vlog of the year, and this book is going to be in that video. So I really, really hope that I love this. I do know that it is set on like a ship, so it's on the high seas. I think we have like maybe a kidnapped person in the book. I don't know, something like that. My vlog is coming and you guys will get to see my thoughts on this, but I'm really looking forward to this and I hope that I love it as much as I've seen everyone else loving it. I also want to read Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the second book and the finale of the Divine Rivals duology, and I'm very excited to see how this story ends. I did end up rereading Divine Rivals in December. It was a great reread. I ended up changing my rating from a 4-star to a 5-star because I just loved it so much. The writing is really beautiful, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Iris and Roman's story comes to a close. So a few other books that I don't physically own, but I'm going to be reading on my Kindle. Number one is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I'll put a picture up of this book. I have seen this series everywhere. I have seen people just like losing their minds over it. So I'm actually reading this right now. I'm only like 100 pages in, but that is coming in that vlog I talked about as well. I'm excited. I hope that I love it because I'm always looking for a new fantasy romance series to be excited about. I'm also going to be reading Rain and Ruin. I forget who the author is, but once again, I'll have a photo up here. This was a book that I saw a lot of people talking about on Stuff Your Kindle Day, and a lot of people people said, make sure you get Rain and Ruin on Stuff Your Kindle Day. It's so, so good. So I'm easily influenced and I picked that one up. And then I do have a few like maybes that I'm putting on my January TBR. I kind of want to reread A Court of Silver Flames, so I'm contemplating doing that. And then I also only have Kingdom of Ash left for my Throne of Glass reread. I don't know if that's gonna get done in January. It would be cool if it did, but that is literally a 982 page book, so I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm putting it out there. And I'm also contemplating picking up the Traitor Queen, which is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series. I read the Bridge Kingdom like 2 years ago and I thought it was fine. I thought it was average. Admittedly, I thought it was a little bit boring, but every single time I talk about the Bridge Kingdom, someone comments saying something like, please keep going in the series. Please pick up book 2. Please continue on, because I hear that things get a lot better as the series goes on. So I absolutely want to give it another shot. I am going to try to continue on with the series and hopefully I end up liking it a little bit more. All right, besties, the sun is setting, the lighting is getting weird. It's time for me to wrap things up. So that is going to be it for my January reset vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, go ahead and leave the crescent moon emoji. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I love you all so, so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.